The missile's ready and prepared for program.
Our power will be demonstrated.
to the Overwatch Watchers Brawl, here for the losers bracket match between Dirt and Popeyes Buff. I'm 3.007, joined today by the Dude Abides.
Hey, 3, what's going on, everybody?
It is great to be here tonight, and given our new, previously unheard of scheduling lineup, we have a very special interview for everyone today.
So we have with us tonight the coach of Dirt. Maybe next time. How you doing tonight, man?
Yeah, what's up? How you doing?
Good, man. Glad to have you here. I'm excited to see you guys get into it tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you've been the coach here for a little bit. Tell us a little bit about Dirt and what you guys have been through.
Well, I'm relatively new to Dirt. The core of this roster has been together for, I think, quite a while. I joined a couple months ago, just because they were looking for a part-time coach. And I'll say that it's definitely a roster I love being a part of. That's really just a lot of chill people to hang out with, along with a lot of people who are very dedicated to improving in Overwatch. So,
all right, well that's good to hear. And if the running theme, it's not going to hold true tonight because it will actually you guys have a competition, but it seems everyone's a little scared to play you guys.
I guess so. I don't know. I mean, I don't blame them.
To catch everyone up, Dirt hasn't had to face many competition. We've had a lot of teams forfeit before the match got started, but we'll have a good one on our hands hopefully tonight. Now, I know you said you guys had a core roster of players, so who do you guys usually rely on to keep the team together in the middle of the match?
Well, so tonight we're actually missing one of our more core players. Vanguard won't be with us, which will be a bummer. But we have Pusey, Tasty, and Jack, who have all been together for quite a while, and they're really a really solid combo. They just, I don't know, they synergize well with each other. They've played long enough that they just kind of know, where everybody's going, what they're doing.
Yeah, it's always a magical thing when you don't have to really tell anyone what you're doing, when they just kind of expect it and can kind of act on instinct. So I'm excited to see that happen. What do you guys feel that you got, as far as comp-wise, what are you guys strong with?
Strong with? Previously, we'd definitely been working a lot in goats, and I think that had been one of our strong suits, but with the new patch changes live, a lot of things have changed. I know that so on my own 4.2K team, I played in a tournament last night, and what we found was that a lot of teams who were able to create chaos and use the fact that tanks are a lot less tanky now found a lot of success, which actually is fine with me because although we haven't been practicing a lot of those comps recently, this is a team that's definitely not afraid to swap onto new things even in the middle of a tournament and test them out if they think it's going to work. And they also definitely thrive when things get chaotic. In long drawn out fights, you might want to keep an eye on Tasty because the 6Ks can come out from her. So
cool. So it's not going to default to just go goats forehead, hopefully.
I don't know. It's up to them. They may start off on goats, but I think if they feel pressured, if they feel like something else is going to work better, then they're just going to swap right onto that and start rolling. So
now I know you guys have seen Popeyes Buff before.
Yep.
And are you guys expecting pretty similar results? What is there anything that you're hoping to see or what you're prepared for in specific?
So we are hoping for similar results. We had a pretty dominant win over them the last time. They definitely played well though, so it's not something that we can just, we definitely had to look at them and prepare for them a bit. But I think what will be interesting to see is if they decide to change anything in their playstyle due to the new patch changes and how they play off of this new meta.
Awesome.
So I don't really know what's going to happen, honestly.
Yeah, it's a really interesting dynamic having a patch come in, more than halfway through a tournament to see what what teams are capable of adjusting to. So it was awesome having you on, man. Really excited to see you guys get to work out there, and best of luck tonight, okay?
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir.
All right, that was Memenex time, coach of Dirt, and here we are back now. Once again, I'm Threepwood. We are with the Dude Abides. The Dude, we're starting out on King's Row. What do we got?
I love King's Row as someone who plays main tank mostly in the lower doldrums of Elo Hell. I love me some King's Row. There's some really tight chokes. There's also some really awesome sight lines for a lot of great, double sniper comps. So we've seen a lot of different looks in this tournament. We've seen bunkers, we've seen goats, we've seen double snipers, we've seen Sombra and hamster dives. So it's one of the more dynamic maps where anything really goes depending on what your strengths are as a team,
And the Orisa Diva has also been coming out a lot, kind of mixing that bunker high ground with a little bit of flexibility with that Diva, able to, you know, transition from the high and the low very easily. But as a fellow main tank player, which is also how I know, by the way, that you're handsome and very intelligent.
Absolutely.
King's Row is also, again, one of my favorites. I feel like everyone tuning into this cast is going to hear me say this a lot. I really like King's Row. It's a super fun map, and I'm not just saying that because of Stockholm Syndrome, and I have to watch this map and commentate on it every single day. Sorry, we almost went down the dark path there. But yeah, so we're going to be seeing some really good Overwatch tonight on King's Row. Dirt is going to be starting out on the defense with Popeyes buff, hitting it off on the first attack. How do you feel about that matchup, the dude? What do you prefer to start on defense, offense?
I think you're at a big advantage if you start on defense. You can really set the tone of the way this map is going to play out. I mean, if you can hold first point, you know, and get a full hold, even one tick or two, you know the work you have cut out for, and you can really be a little more conservative with that. On the same token, like if you're on offense and you really set the tone and you win every team fight, say for a couple, and you leave 2.5 minutes on the clock while finishing the map, you really put the other team in a bad position and put their backs to the wall, so to speak. So it's give or take, but I prefer to be on defense personally.
I agree wholeheartedly. It's entirely up to the offense to set the pace for the map on Hybrid, on Escort, and also on those assault maps. 2CP, as we've been taking to calling them, or Hell on Earth, as I've been taking to call them. So on defense, we're looking to see that classic double snipers with a Lucio Ana. I super love it. Let's see what the final comp sets out for Popeye's buff, and I think it's going to be on Ana Goats.
Yeah, it looks like we're running Ana Goats right into the double sniper, so we'll see if they can find some holes in their brawl.
It's going to be up to Dirt to get those picks early on with those snipers, and now it's going to be full on. The poke is over, and the fight is en route as Popeye's buff is trying to struggle for some foothold here. They haven't entered onto the point yet, but here they go. Storm does manage to find Puckler, though, picking off that Zarya muscle-building head with Nary. How do you do? And that's going to be a 5v6 now. Spawn advantage is going to favor the attack, however, and it's going to be up to Dirt to clear the point as quickly as possible before anyone comes back.
Yeah, and Diva's able to dive the Widow, so clean it up a little bit, and we're brawling and poking here, and we'll see if we can swing the match one way or the other.
Ooh, any pick that Dirt loses here is huge, as that's going to massive walk back from spawn. Nano Boost comes on the right hand, Shatter comes in, Posey! He has the Nano as well, but he's been naded. That's going to be a bubble, but it's going to remove it, it's going to be healing, and it's too many picks now coming in for Popeye's buff. They're forcing Dirt off the point, and they're going to get their first tick, possibly more.
Juice lands a huge Shatter to counter the incoming Nano. Clearly saves the whole team fight, and they will capture first point based on that big hero play right there. And we have Pucker and Juice pushed far, far up into Streets phase, trying to create some space and let that cart get rolling, see if they can, get them to stagger maybe one pick or two, but we'll see.
Yeah, Dirt is coming up on with the sights activated. They're also going to have Dragon Ball ready and waiting, with Pussy also having a Shatter of their own. And Popeye's buff committed the two ults that they really had for that fight. I think I heard something else come out, but I can't really say for sure. Kenna on the Brigitte looking a little low in the ultimate charge, and Master's now going to pick up the Reinhardt on the Juice. Big Shatter comes out. It's going to catch almost the entirety of Popeye's buff. The kills roll in.
And that's back-to-back fights where a Shatter, which is what it's good at doing, is it completely shuts down a team fight, throws all the momentum your way. And a big stagger here as they're able to shut down Diva, get her out of mech with Caniac Maniac.
Oof, oof, oof. That's a nasty one. That's going to set them back a few seconds as little Sonic arrow goes into spawn, sees exactly what they're doing.
And we don't see any changes coming through. We do have a couple of ults coming through here. We're going to be on offense. We have a Grav. Looks like we have a Diva Bomb, so we'll see if they can get anything going with some combos.
And the Dragon Ball is going to be the one that starts this fight. The barriers comes out and counters it, but it's not going to be enough as they get caught with nowhere to go despite the barriers coming in, and that's going to be another fight won. 2 ults this time, but once again, Dirt has managed to hold at this very difficult choke.
Wow, Mr. True just mistimes his beat by probably a quarter of a second. The difference between surviving the dragons and not. It's really touchy timing, and a little bit of difference here and there means you die.
Yeah, it's slightly less efficient as a Zenyatta Transcendence at blocking the Grab Dragons, but it can be done. And now a Grav of their own comes out, and what are they going to do? They're going to drop the Diva Bomb, but the shield is up. there's no kills that result from that particular play, and now the teams are going at it. But Zarya gets separated from her team. Jack is out of position, but they get barriers. They're gonna get anti-nated, and now it's Brigitte getting them in. Massive shatter comes out, again negating Pussy's nano boost. But again, the kills are coming up pretty much equal, but it's Popeyes buff that seems to be getting the edge, taking out the tanks and making sure that the push can finally commence.
Yep, I really love what they did there with going around a little behind the choke, not getting stuck with only one angle to go. Really smart positioning there, and they're able to use the ult advantage or ult economy to their advantage, and even get a huge stagger here on Hanzo. They're going to be able to push cart probably halfway through Streets phase before they finally get a chance to re-engage in another team fight. And again, no switches coming through. Both teams look pretty comfortable in what they're running, and they're going to stick to what they know best.
Ooh, Storm has actually swapped onto a Pharah with no mercy to back them up. They're going to take to the skies, but they also have no hit scan to worry about. It's pretty much only Ana, Zarya, and D.Va that can dive them again. But Nano Boost now comes on to Juice. Dragon is going to go down, right down the choke, but no one's there to get caught by it. And now Dirt has to fight with no ults in their bank, and neither does Popeye's buff. The Reinhardt Juice is going to have a shatter coming online.
Yep, and the zoning dragons doesn't do what they hope it would do. Juice is coming with big shatters and just pushing them back as much as he can.
Yeah, Jack on the Zarya is getting separated from their team a lot more often than you would expect, and that's going to cost them point B as Popeye's buff pushes that to completion and gets that extra minute and a half left. Looks like Ana is going to do her very best to get out from being staggered, and they might make it, but the push is real.
Oh, and again, just a brutal stagger here. They're going to get a lot of progress here before Dirt can actually re-engage here, and we'll see. They have Barrage coming up here, so I'm sure we'll see that come out and try to at least stop this progress that Dirt is just pounding on.
Yeah, a 3-minute hold on King's Row point C is not unheard of, but it's a nasty situation. The Dragon comes out, and there's the Barrage. Wham bam, thank you, man. Brigitte, the tanks, all gone. Perfect timing from Storm, who also picks up the Ana as just a kind of casual end one.
The traditional Overwatch wombo combo comes into full force, and now they will do as what everyone loves to do, is push in and spawn camp a little bit, see if they can try to get a cheeky little stagger here.
Popeye's buff, however, is coming up on almost every ultimate in their arsenal. This is going to be a really tough defense for Dirt, and Popeye's buff has to time their ults well if they're going to make anything out of it.
Yeah, they do have a Shatter and a Dragon combo that they could look into using, but again, ultimate economy is not in their favor.
There comes the Dragons, and there's the bomb! Rhino wasn't able to get there, and the Hanzo and the Ana and the Pharah all go down! Juice gets his nano boost, and now it's time to continue the push thanks to Caniac Maniac's ridiculous going for a Poco Bomb.
Huge Poco Bomb, as you said. Really cleans up the fight. Reinhardt did not get sucked into the grab, which worked out to the advantage of our offensive pushers. And we're going to have one more fight to see if they can contest this point before they finish the map.
And Jack has switched from the Zarya onto the Hammond. Master has come out on the D.Va. We have stall comp out in force, and it's working. A Shatter comes up, but the counter Shatter gets Pussy. And Puckler was taken, but it's not going to win. But still, the picks are definitely going to be favoring Dirt, and they have a humongous spawn advantage right now. Any pick on this hold is huge.
Pusey gets nanoed while laying on his back just to keep him in the fight and to see if they can hold ground enough to bring the staggers back in. And Storm gets shut down as he barrages right away by our Zarya with Puckler.
And the picks now are really starting to favor Popeye's buff, who are showing a very excellent chance at finishing this map before going into overtime. And Master and Legendary doing their best to stall. No one's going to be able to make it back onto the point in time, and that's going to be it. They finish the map.
Oh, I gotta say, after watching that first push, or this first phase of the map, it's very evident that whoever wins the Ryan v Ryan battle is going to win the team fight in this match. And again, as two very intelligent, handsome main tanks, I think we look forward to seeing a lot of the Ryan v Ryan mind games, one of my favorite aspects of Overwatch.
Oh, yeah. The Shatter duels are truly wondrous, and who's got shield? Find out tomorrow. It's really a difficult situation to be in, and sometimes the mental pressure is huge. Popeye's buff, however, with the juice, really brought it.
There's not much better than watching two 9-foot-tall German men try to play live-action chess with their hammers. Doesn't get much better than that.
Rocket hammers. All right, let's see. The Dirt, again, the pace has been set as we were discussing earlier. Popeye's buff completes the map with 1 minute and 11 seconds remaining. One of the best situations to be in on the hybrid and escort maps is to finish with time. Their defense is going to be coming out. Looks like, yes, they're probably going to be going with that Ana Goats again. And on the offense, unless I'm mistaken, which the casters usually are, we're going to be seeing a very interesting triple tank.
Well, we're definitely probably going to get debated considering it's a hog with triple tank. But if they do run with this, it's a lot of DPS they're going to be pumping out with McCree next to him. The shield break between Master and Storm on Hog and McCree is just devastating. So that could lead to a lot of, as what we said, pretty easy shatters if they can follow up with all that shield break. But it looks like Storm switching off to Widow off of the Hog. But he could be there just for the beginning of the fight with these sight lines. But no, right back onto Hog.
He's back on the Hog. We are going to see it. A triple tank. Ryan, Zarya, Hog, and the McCree. You know, that's one thing to win that Ryan shield duel. Why not just have McCree send a flashbang over the top?
And I'm sure we'll see some McRight click going into that shield, because compared with Hog, that is a lot of shield break out there at Zozo.
Ooh, and the boop and the poke segment of the fight is already over, and both Reinhardt swinging for the fences. Pussy looking dangerously low. He's going to need some healing to stay in this fight. Ryan Shield's looking dangerously low. The juice is down already. That's going to be a main tank gone. This is the Dirt's big opportunity to go in. McRight Click can't get Kenna out of the fight, as Kite is doing an incredible job on Ana keeping everything up. Pussy already has his nano boost going and rocking, and that's going to be more kills now coming in for Dirt, who take out the Ana and demech the Diva. Despite Zarya picking up the Ana, who is going to get naded, or rather eliminated, that's going to be the point for Dirt in record time.
Yeah, Popeyes buff not able to take advantage of a huge sleep dart landed on Pusey. They can't capitalize, and instead, Pusey gets nanoed, comes in with no juice to stop his way, and just cleans everyone up with his big rocket hammer.
Yeah, that was a really solid push from Dirt. The one thing I dislike about this is they don't have anyone on the... Oh, nope, there they are. Ana, the healer is on the card. Dirt can now do their full corp. Oh, wow! Big loss. Legendary gets picked off early by Kenna's Brigitte with that nasty little rocket mace, and now Popeyes buff is looking to stuff Dirt back into spawn.
And they absolutely will. Dirt has no option but to retreat, especially after Brig pops rally, and they are just over shielded. Even with the nerf to armor, it's pretty crazy what her ultimate can really do for a team fight.
Oh yeah, and both teams coming up on what can only be described as ult apocalypses. Ooh, look at Sneaky Brigitte! She's coming in out of the hotel trying to get a little bit of a kill. She doesn't manage to pull it off though. And now let's see who pops the ults for. It's a McCree in the backline! Master, what did you do? He eliminates the Zarya and the Ana by doing an incredible high ground flank, and the team fight is over before it begins.
You know, I'm sure they got as caught off guard as I did, because anytime I hear High Noon, I just assume they're reloading. But you actually see some value come out of Deadeye. It happens every now and then, I guess, with the sneaky flank with McCree for Masterworks. And Storm is pushed up really far with Hog, and now the rest of his team is following up. So they're going to try and push this back a little bit farther, see if they can just keep getting this free ride on the cart.
Of all these single ults that I would assume would win a fight, it was never High Noon, not even in early
at all.
Now the Reinhardts are once again swinging it away. But here comes a nasty grab from Dirt. What's going to happen? Barriers coming out from both sides. Here comes the Diva Bomb. What's going to happen? No one knows. No kills. But the whole Hog now is going to rip apart the juice. Massive Shatter comes out. He gets the nano boost. That's a lot of kills for Dirt. Point B is pretty much over, but the Master. High Noon gets stuffed before he can even get it off.
And that's what we more likely are to see when Peaceful Pot High Noon. They are instantly destroyed, but really clean fight here. Dirt is just absolutely rolling. Their ult economy and their combos are just really working to their advantage. We saw at least 5 ultimates come out, both grabs. I'm pretty sure I saw a beat and then a nano shatter as well. But we're pretty even on the sides with ult. We do see Popeye's buff. They're going to have a nano shatter in their pocket here.
Yep, a big anti-nade comes out. That's going to grab Diva, and a Junkrat, which has replaced the Brigitte. Looks like they have identified a need for some more DPS. The juice gets hooked. It's nothing going to happen. Shatter comes out. It goes right into a shield, but Master somehow gets caught in it, and his Fire Strike from the juice is going to wipe them out. A dry push from the Dirt is going to result in a little bit of progress, and maybe some ult charge.
Yeah, Pusey is able to block the Shatter, but they were backed into a corner. There's not really anywhere for them to go. And as you pointed out, it looked like a dry push all the way. They knew they didn't have any way to win that fight, and they got Shatter and Nano out just like they wanted to. Probably see another dry push, but they do have a grab and a Shatter with the Nano they'll probably get before the beginning of this fight. So we might see them try to combo some things here and see if they can get this past this corner.
And in response to Kenna's Junkrat, they've brought out Storm on the Diva, which should mitigate some of that damage, as well as the Fire Strikes. But here comes a major bomb. They don't have a lot going in the way of destroying this, and that's going to catch Legendary out of position, but better one than more. But the push is ultimately defeated without a major source of healing.
Yeah, without a Lucio, you feel pretty stuck in the mud as Ryan. So immediately Dirt is going to retreat so they don't get stuck in the dirt without Lucio on their side.
Storm doing that diva work of holding down left click as much as possible, generating as much ult charge. It's important to remember their defense matrix has been a massive nerf. They can't just spam it like they usually do. Big grab comes in. Here comes the diva. It's going to get stopped early. Just inside Reinhardt's shield. Yes, it is going to catch Jack, who once again is going to face the brunt of the ult, and the other main tank on Crusade goes down. Another push done.
Actually really surprised to see the nano come in by Kite there at the end. That fight was decisively won already. But to be honest, they're getting a nano every other fight. This is what happens when you have a good Ana on your side. She is constantly just throwing those sleep darts and landing them on these beefy tanks on the front line, and they get a lot of value and a lot of ult charge out of it.
Yeah, it's a solid resource. Ana is a really great source of healing to begin with, but when the Ana really has strut in her stuff, it's a really rough situation to play against. But now we're going to see, here we go. It's gonna get eaten! Jack's grab! It gets completely absorbed by Caniac Maniac. A massive sword and a huge shatter! Catching 3. Storm's gonna get demacked. The barriers comes in, but it's just a little too late. High Noon is gonna also come in, and that's not gonna get any kills. As out of position as he is, he's not gonna be able to find anyone. He gets a sick reload, but that's just about it.
That was the longest reload I've ever seen in the history of a game, and here comes the grab. See if they can get anything. Oh, they got a tire coming in too.
Tire gets destroyed. Caniac Maniac gets demacked. Puckler Zarya gets eliminated. All of a sudden, this is a dirt push that might amount to something. The Juice has nano, but he's not going to get any kills out of it. And instead, his shatter also results in no murders. Kenna's death is going to kill Pusey, and the Poco goes out. What happens? Boom, nothing. Juice manages to catch it on the shield. That's going to be nothing coming out, and a little more progress, but ultimately, it's just a stalemate.
Yeah, this is a really amazing brawl. We have seen an ult coming out on both sides from every single hero on the field, with not a lot coming out of any of them except for some really good reloads. But Master does get a couple picks. See if they can capitalize on them here.
Master getting the head of Caniac Maniac before he gets back into mech is enormous, and that's going to be, again, major kills coming in for Dirt. Now the spawn advantage is up to Popeyes buff to keep this in the game, but it's a bit of a stagger. Master has ult once again. What is this High Noon Master doing? He's not going to pull off any kills. No, yep, it gets eaten. And the shatter comes in. That's going to be both tanks gone. Can they finish the map before Popeyes buff gets back on? Maybe. They've got about 14 seconds left. Mr. True is the Zarya. He gets booped off by his... They do! Dirt does finish the map with just a few seconds left, forcing Popeye's buff to start the attack once again.
I'm trying to catch myself laughing because there's nothing funnier in Overwatch than watching McCree in the Lucio speed boost while high nooning and just basically doing the cowboy bebop and just standing there not doing a whole lot. Again, one of the more meme-tastic ults in Overwatch. When it's good, I guess. But again, at this kind of level, you really see it used more as a reload than anything. And Master, I mean, a couple of different fights there. He spent about 3 to 4 seconds not shooting any bullets, just kind of using it as a zoning ult, I guess. But at the end of the day, you can just stand behind Juice's shield, and Master gets no value out of that ult. So we'll see if he changes up his tactics here a little bit. But basically pretty even on both sides. A minute 18 compared to a minute 11. This is a dead even draw at this point. And we'll see. I don't think we'll see any changes in comp. It looks like Dirt is going right back to their defense that they ran on first point. So we'll see if we kind of see that Ana Goats come back out on Popeye's buff.
Yeah, it's... Normally, maybe you wait for the diva to be demeched, or maybe you do a nasty flank like we saw. But, zones are zones, and now we're going to see, like you mentioned, that wonderful first comp. Can they hold it for a minute and 11? We're going to be seeing a really interesting composition coming out from Popeye's buff. Hanzo Goats, I'm going to call it.
Yeah, it's more of a triple tank with Hanzo, but it's pretty comparable to Goats. You do have the 3 tanks and that big beefy front line.
Yep. The poke has begun. Jack already having a massive quantity of charge, and the Juice's shield is almost done. They're gonna have to... Then there it goes! Juice's shield is down, which means a major resource, and Puckler has already been demeched. Dirt's defense is doing amazingly. Massive kills again. Puckler gets eliminated before they have a chance to get demeched. The Juice's shield is once again already going to fall. That's gonna be Jack picking up another kill. Jack, the tank hunter.
Yeah, no Diva and no Rhine shield equals a dead push. They do lose a very high charge Zarya as well. And then, oh, what a nasty sleep chart to stagger the absolute hell out of Kenna there.
That's massive. And that means Popeye's buff really only has one more push to go. They are going to have a nano coming into it. Looks like they're switching up to a bit of a diving Goats with Juice on the Winston, but they're going to be running into Dragon Ball, and that is a fight winner.
And Kenna actually switches on to Brig as well. So yeah, we're going to see some Goats come out here. But sights have just been popped, so Dirt does know everything that's going to be coming their way.
and the Juice is diving for the Widowmaker. Let's see how the Dragon Ball gets used. Both ults are up. D.Va is still in the mech though, and that's a huge problem. Nano Boost has come out, and it's going on to a Boostio, and that's going to be a big time for Legendary to do not a lot as the Juice gets in. There goes the grab. Here comes the Dragons. It comes in. They have no support ults. The entire team falls, but Popeye's buff pulls a tick. That means they have a chance to actually win this map.
Yeah, big hold there. I don't think Dirt is too concerned about giving up one tick. They do have a little bit over a minute. I'm sure they feel confident they can make that kind of progress. But I don't know that they necessarily C9. They probably just got pushed back a little bit more than they would like to. The Angry Monkey doesn't end up working for Popeye's buff. Boostio comes in to save the day, awkwardly enough. I've never seen so many awkward ults used in one match. But hey, you know, if it's working, keep rolling with it. Boostio for the win, you know?
Yeah, it might have been one of those situations. Lucio maybe diving in front of the Ana just at the right time. The brain has already sent the command to the ring finger to hit Q. You can't really pull that one back. Boostio gets it instead of Reinhardt, and the rest.
I like to think that they were going for the Boostio just to, you know, to really throw him off guard. But I'm probably wrong. But you know, a boy can hope. And it looks like we're going to see Storm come out on Sombra, running alongside of Master, running that Hanzo. So we'll see if Sombra can disrupt that backline a little bit with some sneaky hacks. There's some really good lanes here for some good flanks. You can always throw Translocator across some of these back alleys and get behind them. Puckler is going to be on Mei. Mei is really disgusting on King's Row with how badly she can separate your main tank from you, through the rest of your team with a wall. Let's see if she can get any value out of those walls here.
As far as stalls go, Mei on King's Row with a Reinhardt is definitely a disastrous combo for the offense. It looks like they are. Boom! And we have 4 caught out, but they're going to commit. Pusey managed to get on top of the wall. He gets anti-nated. Juice also gets anti-nated. Both Reinhardts, and that's going to be Juice falling first. A huge loss for Popeye's buff. And now here comes Dirt. They're taking progress already on the point. Puckler on the Mei is causing so many problems already, though. You can see that it's just ridiculous, but the Zarya is also down with both tanks gone. This is huge. Popeye's buff defense needs to start mounting kills. They can't get it. They're almost at that tick. 35.1% is all they need. Mei, once again, proving incredible at stalling.
They do have a win condition here, and it is destroy Mei. And even without destroying Mei, they are actually able to take the first point with a little bit more than a tick. No ults, actually, contrary to the rest of this match, come out in that fight. Mei's wall, as nice as it was, they're not able to get very much value out of it. No kills out of that. But really, really awesome first map. Really close match. Huge bomb here.
Love it.
Going
oh
full
God.
Poco. And as we see, the huge stagger there with Pusey at the end. Really exciting match. Really, really good frontline tanks. Just going at it. Really playing the mind games with each other. We saw big shatters. We saw block shatters. We saw a little bit of it all. We saw Dosey doing McCree's not pulling the trigger on anything, but you know, it ended up working out to their advantage because they do get the win here with Dirt.
Absolutely. And I love seeing the realization that, you know, shield break isn't necessarily a strategy or a tactic that you should really focus on, but when you have a Reinhardt that's anti-nated in the back line, having a Hanzo shoot storm arrows into a cracking shield, pretty good idea.
Yeah, and on the last push, not on this last round, but on Popeye's buff's last push on King's Row, you could see Juice lost his shield near instantly with that amount of shield break. And when you have no shield, and then immediately after, I believe Hanzo demeched the D.Va for Popeye's buff, at that point, that whole push is over. They still committed to it, surprisingly enough. And I feel like if they would have just backed out, knew the fight was lost, they could have regrouped, they had a really high charge Zarya, I think they would have had a much better chance of shifting the momentum back into their favor, but unfortunately they did feed a little bit, and that led to them ultimately getting stopped with just only one tick.
Yeah, it's a rough situation to be in, and you'd always love to see progress go beyond that first tick from the first offense on a tiebreaker situation in the hybrid maps. That means there's a chance the map won't end in a draw, which it can absolutely do so since it is a capture point style map. We are going to be seeing also, speaking of tiebreakers, a complete inability to tie as we go to Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, and we see in the chat the incoming ha never ends. Pretty apt analysis there from Kinder for Mike Check in the chat, or Mike Rex, sorry.
High noon. good lord. You know, it's great. I love the ult. I remember when it used to be scary, you know? When it used to be like this thing, I don't even know how to react to this, like what's going on, and then all of a sudden it just stopped being a thing.
Now, I will say this. I saw on a highlight video that Jane put out the other day, total side note, but we're talking about High Noon, so I got to share it. It was on Junkertown first point, right at the choke of the end of first point, and McCree pops High Noon on high ground. Sim drops the teleporter. He walks through it as it's fully charged, 180, clicks 5 heads with it. It was one of the juiciest things I've ever seen, and me being down in Plat, no one's pulling that kind of stuff off, but I'd love to see it enter some gameplay in some of these games, because it was the coolest High Noon I've ever gotten to see.
That kind of coordination is ridiculously stellar, and they were probably, you know, super calm, cool, and collected, and then afterwards, I'll bet their comms just freaking exploded.
I mean, if I was that McCree, I'm throwing my headset off and just walking out of the room at that point. You know, I don't even want to play Overwatch anymore. That's it. I've literally achieved transcendence in Overwatch at that point.
Oh yeah, you peaked. Like that's it. Like you're done. Like why even bother, right? Like whatever.
Personally, I peaked in high school, so my Overwatch career is just for fun at this point. So it's all down here from here, kids. Really embrace that high school years that you get, because I got to tell you, your 30s is not fun.
At least you're having fun. And with my 30th birthday almost a month away, let's see what compositions are going to be coming out on this map in Lijiang Tower, which tends to favor the Rein Zarya, and yet we are going to be seeing a pretty straight goats from Dirt. Popeye's buff seems to be a little indecisive on their last 2 picks.
Yeah, I mean, we see Dirt coming in with Junkrat, which is pretty solid on control center here. He can take a little bit of high ground, but again, the shield break with Junkrat is just stupid sometimes. And it looks like Popeye's buff is actually going to come out with Winston goats here. Oh, they changed, and they go to Zarya.
And Senny goats. We got the Senny goats.
Jabaited.
And Dirt is going to come swinging out of the spawn because Popeye's buff had that last minute change. The Juice has, and the Discords are on the Reins. Classic Discord placement. Rein shield, again, Juice is showing his shield cracking. Both shields are about to crack. We might be seeing some straight brawls. Diva's defense matrix is eating up Pusey's fire strike, so it's difficult for him to get any strike. But now Dirt's going to take the point percentage, and Popeye's buff has to enter the point, but no! Ooh, and Juice gets aced really early thanks to that Discord, and that's going to be Dirt pushing Popeye's buff, and now they're going to take that ever-powerful choke right outside of spawn.
You know, I thought Popeye's buff was going to be able to turn the tide there. They took a little bit of cover. They had the shield advantage in that shield v shield fight, but you know, Dirt just able to take advantage, and Pusey comes in swinging hard, and that is that.
And a dirty stagger from Pusey onto Puckler, swinging that hammer from the high ground. I mean, I don't know if they've ever seen Star Wars The Phantom Menace, but we all know what happens when someone has the high ground.
Oh, we're bringing up the new Star Wars. We have nothing better to talk about, apparently.
Because the tire's coming into the choke, ladies and gentlemen, unsupported, unplayed with. Is it going to get destroyed? It isn't. It does get Puckler. Kenna kills themselves in the fit of retreat.
I was just biting my tongue waiting for that tire to explode, and somehow he went full Jake mode on him and got that tire all the way in there to get it one single pick. But they do have this choke advantage. It is a very tough choke to push through unless you just throw a whole bunch of ults at it from the offensive side. And
they do definitely have a bunch of ults coming into it. There goes the Shatter. Brigitte and a Zarya bubble block most of it. The Pusey gets chatted a little, but now Trans and Rally are coming out. Another Shatter comes out. That's going to catch a lot of backline, but the barriers comes in at the last minute, preventing any kill from occurring. And now it's a fight on the point as Caniac Maniac drops their bomb, but gets killed before they can re-mech.
Yeah, Caniac Maniac using her ult just for the sheer purpose of getting back in mech. And Dirt is not having any of it. A lot of ultimates come out, and Dirt actually has a grab tire coming up. That could be the end of this fight if they play it right.
With 85% now coming up to 90, this is definitely one fight territory for both teams unless and there's the big grab. Here comes the tire. It came from Sneaky. Trans doesn't do anything against tire, and the D-Mech and the Lucio go down. There is a contest on the point, so we are going to go into overtime, and maybe Popeye's buff can turn this around, but the man advantage is really not looking good for them.
Yeah, this looks like this map is, or this round at least, is about to be over unless some crazy hero plays to cover up Popeye's buff, and it doesn't look like Boostio is going to be able to do it this time around.
And a solo shatter onto Mr. True with a ever-present Discord is going to eliminate that possibility, and Dirt takes it 100-0.
And that's a feels bad man for Mr. True there. The lone Amazonian Lucio jumping around cannot 1v6, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some good solid Reddit Lucios in my day, but man, I don't know. At this level and with that kind of comp and you have the shatter ready, rough times.
Yeah, I mean, you can do some pretty tricky wall riding in the days of DSP Stanky, but I don't think you're pulling off a 1v6 with that. And it looks like we're going to see Dirt come out with Storm on May, so we're seeing a little bit of a Snoats. And on Popeye's buff side, it looks like they're going to be running a pretty traditional goats here with Zenny.
The most original goats, almost, with the Zenyatta and the Moira. A character you don't really see often with goats anymore, given Ana's newfound potential.
Yeah, it's actually interesting to see Kite on Moira. Between Moira, Zen, and Lucio, they're going to be trying to go really brawly with a heavy Discord, I would imagine.
And a nasty Maywall catches a lot off guard, and Puckler is going to fall victim, getting pinned up against the icy throws. Jack gets a pin in return from Juice, but the Discord is on, the hammer is swinging, the Maywall goes in, little misplay, not going to really getting in, Master's going to die, possibly as a result, but Dirt is going to take this point as the fight is definitely going in their favor.
Yeah, it's not often to see May get a pin on a Reinhardt, but she certainly did pin him with that wall right to the ceiling, and that's... they're just really coming in with the hard staggers here. Juice gets killed very late. It's going to be a hard reset here. And unfortunately for Popeye's buff, they're going to have to come through this tight choke again.
Market is, again, yeah, one of those maps where you almost have no choice. You can take the long route, but it becomes immediately obvious what's going to go on. Tasty has that trans, and they do. They catch the D.Va and the Reinhardt out once again. D.Va gets demeched, the Juice gets annihilated. Storm is definitely flexing their worth with that massive wall potential.
And Legendary Zan doesn't even be a gentleman and let D.Va jump off the map. He decides he's going to end it for her a little bedtime music instead of her just jumping to her death.
It's rough times, but Popeye's buff is not out of the running yet. They have a number of really sick ults coming online. However, they are going to be going up against some other really nasty crowd-controlling ults, and it looks like it's going to be May's ult coming out first. The freeze is going to go in, Puckle's going to get caught, and the shatter is going to come up following it. Coalescence is going to arrive on the scene. That is going to eliminate Pusey, but Coalescence doesn't get through Maywall, one of the few abilities that stops it.
Oh, and Kite actually pulls off 2 kills, and we're going to see a shatter coming in to take out May. Looks like Zenyatta's going to go down. Popeye's buff is actually going to turn the tide on this fight, and it looks like they're finally going to push through and retake this point.
I am loving this. Of all the ults that came out, Popeye's buff saved theirs until it was absolutely their most efficient, and I love seeing Coalescence do its job. They took 2 kills and probably did a truckload of healing in the result.
Yeah, Popeye's buff is going to really try and push up here. Oh, but May is getting some really good value. She freezes D.Va. And Juice is just getting pinned into a really bad spot as Dirt just collapses on him.
Juice forgot to unbind charge, got a little too aggressive, and the bomb comes in. That's not going to catch anyone. Juice, of course, dies for his sins. Reinhardt on the Pusey. Pusey on the Reinhardt goes charging in against the D.Va. They're not going to catch Maniac. Storm does find Kenna a little bit out of position. The wall comes in. They're going to start picking off the remainder of Popeye's buff, and Dirt is going to retake this point, but not after Popeyes gets a considerable percentage. And a massive shatter comes in. Wait, this fight isn't over.
Really, really awkward fight happening here. Traditionally, you see goats all stuck together. There has been 2 fights on 2 fronts going on here, and Dirt finally takes the point back. You know, it was Ryan v Zarya and Brig on one side, and then 4v2 on the other. Really tough to watch if you're trying to keep track of this, but real exciting Overwatch nonetheless.
Woof, and with a trans coming out from Popeye's buff and a massive riptor of ults, that's going to be a premature shatter coming out. I love a trigger-happy Q, but not as much as Popeye's buff does. With no shatter, they now know that they have a lot of room to work with. Let's see if D.Va can stop that May ult from coming out. They don't. The freeze goes in right on the point. Maniac gets frozen. Graf comes in as a counter. No kills coming in yet. Barriers is going to prevent anyone from Dirt from dying for a while, and that's going to give them opening to destroy many of the supports. D.Va's demeched. The tanks are down. This is going to be it for Popeye's buff as Dirt takes the point and the map and the round.
Yep, Alt City goes in the favor of Dirt on the last fight. It looks like that's going to be the end of the tournament for Popeye's buff. hopefully they are able to catch Popeye's buffet in time this evening before they do actually close.
As their team origin has stated, they are all from the area where one of the last Popeyes buffets in America has stated. I hope they do go there and enjoy a celebration luncheon because they made it as far as they could into the losers bracket, fighting their way past Imperium and Aimless Esports, only to fall to Dirt, who coasted their way through 2 rounds, but then strutted their stuff and made it happen.
I am incredibly thankful, though, that we got to see as exciting of a King's Row as we did on the first map. That was really awesome action. Lijiang, too, as well. Dirt just really able to impose their will with that Snoats comp. Snoats is really, really tough to deal with if Mei is being a little sneaky. And I don't know if you caught onto it. Storm, the first Blizzard that he threw it straight up into the air as Popeye's buff was leaving high ground. So they had nowhere to go but sit in her icy cold igloo of hell.
I did not even notice that at all. We saw that last night actually with a grav that got shot up right into the air. Brilliant play. So I super love seeing that out. And we, again, since we had the pre-match interview, now we have to have the post-match interview. And we are going to be interviewing Jack, who we saw on the Zarya for Dirt. Jack, glad to have you.
Hey, it's nice to be here.
So, Dirt has just taken Popeye's buff, continuing their losers bracket journey into the grand finals. How do you feel?
Well, this was kind of a relief for us because we're missing almost half of our main roster, so we're all starters today with a couple, at least one ringer, So this was a big relief that we were able to win this out.
Well, definitely nicely done. So we saw a lot of good Zarya play from you. We also saw some serious aggression. How do you feel playing Zarya being enabled by your team?
I have to give a lot of thanks to our Ana for being insane, staying scoped in for 90% of every fight, blasting heals right into me no matter how aggressive I get. Because of that, I can stay alive better than any other Zarya, maintain my energy, and go for these juicy right-click combos that just destroy the enemy Reinhardt every time,
That was definitely apparent in the King's Row match. You built up your charge and then to a Dragon Ball combo really early on in that final push from Popeye's buff, which definitely was a deciding factor in your hold on King's Row. So one last question before we let you go. So now that Dirt is going to be coming out, you're going to be fighting the loser of the G14 round, which is going to be Big Oof Energy and Church of XQC, which is actually going to occur next at 8 p.m. Which team would you rather be fighting?
Probably Big Oof Energy, because I like their name more.
That is the best choice possible. Well, good luck
Yeah.
to Dirt and good luck to you, Jack. Thank you for an excellent match of Overwatch. This has been 3.007. I am joined by the Dude Abides. You can find me at 3.007 on Twitter and on Twitch.
And you can catch me on Twitch streaming with Watchpoint Radio on Tuesday nights at twitch.tv/mashthosebuttons. And you can find me on Twitter at _B.
I am hella gonna check all that out right now. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to tune in at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the next match. As again, Big Oof Energy and Church of XQC. Thanks for stopping by, everyone.
Good night.